What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Now, today we're doing a seniors regionals question and answer video, and this time we have John's second place at Massachusetts. And as you see, it is a Size Toad, Crobat, Mewtwo, Manectric deck. Now, it just kind of depends on the matchup if you use Size Toad, Manectric kind of thing. You do have the Head Ringers, which can make Manectric second attack Assault Laser do 60 more damage, so 120 total. Then you play the Rough Seas to heal off the Toad and Manectric. There we go. And of course, you know, when you play Pokemon Center, if you're new to my channel, she always has to be full art. So of course I asked him, was this Pokemon Center full art? But if you give me 1 second, we'll see his day 2 list. Alrighty, so for today 2, we see that he switched a totally different deck. He is now playing Mega Manectric Rayquaza EX. Now Mega Manectric has the attack Turbo Volt, it does 110, but you attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and depending on the deck, you can do them back to like Mega Manectrics and just cycle between the two because you do play the max potions. You do the Reshiram, which has Blue Flare, which is 120, or you can do Rayquaza EX, which has Dragon Burst, which does 60, and you have to discard either all the Fire or all the Lightning, whichever you do 60 times the amount of that. So if you discard 3, you do 180, which seems pretty cool. And once again, he does play the Pokemon Stern Lady, so I once again ask him, is it full art or not? But hopefully you enjoy the interview, and thanks for watching. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're actually doing regionals question and answer video, and what's your name?
Jonathan.
And what regionals are we talking about?
Massachusetts regionals this past weekend.
Okay, so we know for standard that you played the Manectric Crobat deck, and what decks did you play against in Swiss, and how did you end up doing against them?
Okay, so round 1, I played against my good friend Connor Bray. He was playing Verzi and Genesect, which sometimes can be a really hard match, especially if they go first. Luckily, I went first, got Headringers down, and yeah, I took over pretty quickly, and it went downhill for him from there. Game 2, he started Jirachi and had a dead hand, so I just kind of destroyed him. Yeah. Round 2, I played against someone who I have no clue. Sorry, forgot your name. He was playing Donphan though, and game 1, it comes down to a point where I need to end him to 1, and of course he hits Lysander because that's naturally what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I lose, so I kind of get scared because I'm like, Donphan is a relatively good matchup, but Huluchas can be annoying sometimes. Game 2, I start Manectric EX, and I'm forced to bench Jirachi, and I'm like, great, this is going to go perfectly. And I somehow ended up winning, because he dead drew a little bit. Game 3, I got like 3 Crobats, 1 Golbat, bunch of Toads with muscle bands, damage everywhere, no items. He just couldn't take it. So yeah, I got everything set up. And then round 3, I'm pretty sure I played against my good friend Zachary Bokari. He was playing Mega Manectric, Suicune, and I think I saw an Empoleon in there. I don't really remember. Well, whatever. Game 1, I realized how few support. I didn't know this thing was a deck until, which is great. So after game 1, I mean, I 2-0'd him, but game 1, he started dead drew, and I realized how few supporters and like how many items he played in that deck actually, and I guess I had to assume that because it's like an Archie's type deck and you play compressors, acrobikes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So after I got early Quaking Punches, set up my bench, got bats everywhere, which was really annoying because he played Rough Seas. So I got to the point where I was able to sweep his attackers with Assault Laser and stuff, and that's how I won both games, really.
Okay.
Yeah. And round 4, we had 6 rounds, by the way.
Okay.
49 people. That's so small for a senior regionals, but round 4, I played against Aaron Clark, who's playing Mega Manectric Virizion Genesect.
Okay.
Didn't know what to do or anything. Game 1, he starts putting early pressure. He plays down his own Rough Seas, and I'm just like, okay, what am I playing again? Ended up helping him out a lot. I remember one time I misplayed. I just go Crobat 30 on the Manectric when I'm not about to one-shot, and he goes, Rough Seas, and I'm like,
I forgot.
yeah. But game one, I end him to like 2. I use Mewtwo X Ball to kill his Headringer Genesect. So we're both at 2 prizes. He ends me Turbo Volts, and I need the DCE, and I have the DCE in hand. So that's how game 1 goes. Game 2, he doesn't really get that much, and I kind of just like got quick assault T2 assault laser for 140. And started putting more and more early pressure, and that's how I won. Round 5, I play against the eventual champion, Ian Robb, which is Toadpuff. I offered the tie. I was the only 4-0 at this point, and he was 3-0-1, which him not accepting the tie was actually really smart, because whether or not he tied or lost, he would still need to win the next round to be guaranteed in the cut. So he'd rather take the chances of winning, because he would still need to win the next round if he lost. So, game 1, he dead draws really badly. Like, I get a Headringer on his Toad. He doesn't get to, like, a turn 3 Quaking Punch. I get Rough Season play. Doesn't draw into a Riverbank for a while. Goes downhill. Just concedes after realizing there's no way he can win. Because I have, like, a Manectric with 2 energies and another one with 1. Game 2 gets to a point. This is really unfortunate for him. Instead of playing Lysander's trump card, he played Lysander. And he decks himself. So that was really bad. So that was game 2. Feel like a jerk for that, but
it happens.
Yeah. Last round I ID, and I'm 5-0-1 at this point with my good friend. Then the person I ID'd with got second.
Okay. So were you overall the number 1 seed going in?
Yeah, I was first seed.
All right. Well, congratulations. So,
Thank you.
Before we talk about day 2, why did you decide to play the Manectric Seismitoad Bats deck for day 1?
I felt like it had all even matchups and good matchups. I didn't really feel that it had an auto loss. I do know that Kyogre and Groudon give it problems a lot, but if you get early bat damage, easier to say with Groudon because they don't have Rough Seas. But yeah.
Now, how do you feel the eggs matchup against this deck is?
That's actually really debatable. It depends, because I know eggs is really item reliant. So if like they start with egg, get eggs on the bench. If I go like Seismitoad, DCE, Muscle Band, kill an egg, the deck is really item reliant, and bats help out a lot. But not being able to use supporters is always a huge advantage for them. So I'd say that's one of like those 45-55 in their favors.
Okay. So
yeah.
Now, how great was the 2 Rough Seas? Or did you want more or anything?
I never really wanted more. I mean, the only matchup I wanted more because like a Virgin round 1 doesn't play supporters. Round 2 I played against Donphan. Of course I wanted more because he had like 3 Viting Stadiums, then 1 Silent Lab. And in game 2, after I saw the Silent Lab game 1, I knew he was going first. I almost started like, oh wait, that was something totally different. My bad.
Okay.
I would have like started Free Flight Zubat, and he could have gotten like Silent Lab turn 1, then I wouldn't have Free Retreat.
Okay.
So yeah.
Now, was the 1 Mewtwo helpful in that 1 matchup, or did you, besides that 1 matchup, did you even use that at all?
Mewtwo was crazy. All of my games. It had some sort of usage.
Okay.
Maybe a few was just like Ultra Ball trash, but it was worth 1 Mewtwo was always worth it. I would not regret putting that in there.
Okay. Now, you did only play 1 switch. Did you ever want a second one if you start with Manectric and you need to tackle Toad?
Personally, yes, I would have liked the second one. I mean, I seem to always draw into that switch. But honestly, I probably would have added in an escape rope.
Okay. So, besides the escape rope, would you want to add anything else to the deck, or you think the list is pretty solid?
Okay. So, my good friend Russell Lepere, I think is how you say his Lapare or whatever, however you say his last name.
Mm-hmm.
He played the same deck as me and made top 8 in Masters. He played Rock Guard instead of Computer Search.
Okay.
Now, at first he tells me this, I'm like, what the heck? You're crazy. It helps the Toad matchup so much if you get it down before Quaking Punch. Like, and math works out perfectly. Like, if you get like, if they have an item on them or you Headringer them and you like Rock Guard your Manectric, it's like 60 on them and then 120 going back into them. So I mean, numbers are great with that. And on top of that, like bats and stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
I'm looking for more consistency because I'm more of like a consistency over tech kind of guy.
uh huh.
But I mean, Rock Guard seemed to work out really well for him. Like I watched some of his games. It won him a lot of his games.
Okay, but
So it
you,
was something I really would have tested out. But I don't think this deck would be good for Roaring Skies. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe.
Now going into day two, what made you switch over to the Manectric Rayquaza deck?
All right. So I'm playing against the guy I beat round 3, Zachary Bokari, 4-2, the only one to make it in. Me and Second Seed, the person I ID'd with in the last round, we were just thinking about decks. We were like, okay, should we play Size Guard? I mean, because Virgin is one of the go-tos in day 2,
True.
I want to say, because of Skyro Bridge being back and all that stuff. And it just being extremely consistent. So I expected to see a lot of that. Little did I know I'd play against the exact opposite, Flareon. But we were just couldn't think of anything. Justin Tam reminds me about like the 63 cards, regionals deck. He was like, it wasn't that kind of good, and I was like, I was actually when I was watching him playing, I was really surprised. The deck drew really well, and it was amazing. So I was like, hey, why don't we give that a try? So Ishan's like. 5 minutes later, Ishan texts me, "Oh hey, congratulations for day 2," and we just start talking on Skype, and he's like, "Okay, so if we need a deck that if my opponent like says has no extended cards, because a lot of people don't come prepared, me, um, if he stays the same with the same deck, I need a deck that would beat that." And okay, so what deck beats my deck instead in extended? Assuming he may be in the mindset that I stay the same,
Yeah.
which is Virgin. Manectric Rayquaza has extremely good matchup against Virgin, and a favorable but not like auto win matchup against Mega Manectric, Suicune, blah, 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 whatever the heck that is.
Yeah.
So he was like. There were a bunch of other decks that we could have played in that scenario and still done well, assuming he did play Virgin or stayed the same. But it was midnight. I was like, oh, screw it, I'm playing this. And I'm really hyped up because, I don't know, it was day 2. And I needed a top cut there in order to like ensure that I would have a chance at getting a paid trip to nationals and $300 staying in top 16. So I was really hyped. They let us in a little early. I turned in my list. Make sure I checked it twice. Because I can't risk having that happen.
Yeah, true.
I know I'm playing against Zachary, so I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. Ask him what he's playing. He's not going to tell me. And so I sit down. I'm really nervous. I see him pile shuffling. He accidentally flips over a card. It's a Flareon, and I'm like, okay. I don't know how to play this matchup, but I feel like Mega Manectric, if I get them out early, like turn 2 or at the least turn 3, like I can get like a lot of damage. Like he won't be able to get hit like 210 in 2 turns, and then I can just max potion and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets there 5 minutes late, and game 1 he gets a prize card penalty. I take it and that makes a huge difference. All those one prize attackers, one prize is huge, especially in the prize trade.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets down to the point where we're just ending each other down to low numbers, and he realizes that he can't win, and he's like, wow, that prize penalty really screwed me over. So he concedes. Game 2, I get sort of a slow start Manectric. I get a turn 3 Mega Manectric, which is terrible.
Yeah.
In my situation, of course. In other matchups, maybe not. And he kind of just, like, puts on a lot of early pressure. Gets, like, a turn 2 150. And I'm like, oh, you can do that.
Yeah.
And I concede because I won a full game 3. I don't want to lose due to time in top 8. So I'm going first. I get the Spirit Link, Energy, have Mega Manectric in hand. The one N he plays, of course, that's the only supporter in his hand, ends my hand away. Terrible. Draw. N. Perfect. N, Mega, Lightning, a Battle Compressor, bench another Manectric, and then there's still a Juniper left in my hand. So I'm like, great, this is going good. Because in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, just make sure everything goes good. Don't mess up. Don't mess up. Don't mess up. And gets to the point where that Mega Manectric eventually dies because crazy numbers are stupid. And I have to put up the second Mega, but it's not a Mega yet, so I haven't been drawing into it the whole time. Gets to a point where if I hit the Mega, I win. Basically, I don't win the match, but he has nothing.
Okay.
He doesn't even have the Ditto in order to like do crazy numbers that turn. So Juniper 1 2 3 4 5 6 trash. 7 I rip the Mega and just like slam it down. I'm like so happy. He just kind of like face palms like of course that would happen, but I just kind of took over from there and it was good. And the top 8 match, I was either playing against Executor or Virgin. I kind of knew the Virgin would win, and I really didn't want to play against the Executor, so I really needed that Virgin to win.
Yeah.
But yes, the Virgin's against my good friend Alex Smetna, and of course I'm happy to have a great matchup because I do play the 2 Blue Flare Reshiarams.
Mm-hmm.
And game 1, a lot of early pressure. He kind of realizes, oh yeah, another thing to add. He did play Ilimuse or something.
Yeah.
I saw that a little bit after States, but not doing well at States. So it was kind of interesting to see play against because I think it's a Verzian for one less.
It's a Verzian for 1 energy, and you attach 1 energy. So.
Yeah, and has a second attack, Twirl Sign or whatever. He used that once because there was no hope. So I kind of just whooped him game 1. Game 2, I get like turn 2 Mega Manectric, awesome. Just need to draw into a Pokemon. I don't draw into a Pokemon, so I lose an auto win in game 2. I'm like, okay, I'm going first. Everything's going fine. Just gotta pull out that 1 win. Then I have my buys, which I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in top 16 without that regionals that didn't have buys. Getting second at everything. Know how Jeremiah Williams feels. Yeah. So, game 3, T2 Mega Manectric, Reshiram's loaded up. He realizes he can't win. He scoops.
There you
Now
go.
I'm really excited, and the friend that I also played Mega Man Rayquaza was in top 4 playing against Toadpuff. Now, thank goodness, my good friend Jeremy Gibson changed up the list for him a little bit because Ian Robb knew that we were hanging out and had the same deck.
Uh-huh.
He didn't know that we had different lists, so that may have caused him to change the way he played, or he stay the same, or what he thinks he knows about the deck.
Yeah, true.
Like, I think Justin played Acros instead of Compressors, which wasn't that huge because I'm under Trainer Lock, but he didn't play the 1 PCL. That was huge. I'm pretty sure Ian didn't see that coming.
Okay.
But yeah, I sit down to play. At this point, I realize that there's no difference between first and second except for the trophy and 15 points. So I'm really happy, and my goal was top 8 to like give me a chance at top 16. Now I think by getting second, I've sealed it.
Yeah,
But I can never say anything because there's more regionals to come.
that's true.
Game 1, he gets a lot of early pressure, crushing hammers. I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, nice, thanks.
Thanks, Toad.
Yeah, and I was sitting there doing nothing. There's got to a point where I started draw passing, then boom, Mega, crushing hammer, tails, scoop up, tails, attach. I'm actually getting energies back in play now. And it gets to a point where he lasers me, tails. I'm like, whoa, am I about to win? Laser, heads. Oh my god, this is gonna happen, isn't it? Goes into my turn. I die going back into his turn if I get tails.
Uh-huh.
Roll the die. I'm like, I did nothing to deserve this. Toad is stupid. I roll, and it's a 5. And I'm like, okay, so I just kind of scoop up all my cards, and I'm like, let's hope this doesn't happen again, because that kind of ticked me off.
Uh-huh.
Game 2, everything goes really well. Gets to a point where I have a Rayquaza with 2 lightning and 2 fire. So this whole time, I've been like turbo volting, and on the side, just charging up this Rayquaza. And he's been seeing it, so he's been hammering it, hammering it, and stuff. Laser, tails. Laser, heads. Oh my god, this is happening again. I get so excited that I forget about sleep. Draw, I see the chorus in my hand. I'm like, okay, if I play this chorus and hit any kind of energy, because at that point, I'm doing 180 if I get a fire or a lightning.
Yeah.
But Judge is like, wait, you need to flip for sleep. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that part. It's not going to be fun. Tails, I'm like, no. Just kind of just chorused. Hit so many energies. Yay! And pass, and then he has laser for win, and it's all over.
I mean, but still, second place is nice, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, how much did you like the deck?
Oh, I love the deck.
Uh-huh.
Like, my best match of, like, the weekend had to be that top 8 one, and it just went so perfectly, and I love the way the deck drew and stuff.
Now, besides the Virizion, what else would the restaurant be used for?
It was mainly Virizion. I guess maybe Safeguarders.
Yeah, true.
That was a huge part. Another thing was Bouffalon. I don't know, maybe there would have been Buffalo Wild Wings and Top Cut, but Mega Manetric, I didn't play Muscle Band, so that 110 from Mega Man would do 90 to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, Reshiram's like a standard in this deck almost. Virgin was the main reason, bottom line.
Yeah.
But I don't see me using it in any other matchup. Like when I would compressor turn 1 against Ian in top 2, I would just get rid of Reshirams and other compressors because they'd be useless.
That's true.
So I wouldn't have to draw into them.
Okay. Now, when you played the deck, were you more focused on going between 2 Mega Manetrics, or were you trying to like Mega Manetric, power up Rayquaza, then later on would treat the Rayquaza, send a Manetric, power up Rayquaza again?
Matchup dependent.
Okay, true.
If I'm not against Eviltall, I'm gonna be like, oh, switch between Megas, one shot them. Virgin, you have 2 Reshiram, and that's great. Rayquaza seemed like it just had really good synergy, and it could get some crazy plays, like sweep up the last few prizes that Mega Manetric can't do.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real matchup for Rayquaza. It just seemed like it could be useful at times.
Now, what was the highest you ever hit with Rayquaza?
210?
210? Okay. I don't know if you like loaded up like a giant Rayquaza and did like some crazy amount of damage.
Dude, I wish. I really wish.
Okay. So, did you ever want more than one switch, or is it one enough in this deck?
Same thing. I mean, I guess my case is better in the point that I figured since there'd be a lot of Virgin, Skyro Bridge would be back, and Mega Manetric has free retreat. So if I don't start with something stupid like Jirachi or Reshiram, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I probably, in the end, would have dropped a fire energy down to 4 and added in an escape rope.
Okay.
I like that 1-1 split. I don't know why I didn't do that this weekend.
Yeah. Now, we noticed that you don't play any stadiums. Why was that?
Because I'm an idiot and I left my tropical beaches right there for the weekend.
So, if you had your tropical beaches, would you have played them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We even thought about, okay, we have no beaches, let's play Scorched Earth. And no. Now, stadiums only ended up mattering until top 2, because Flareon, he didn't get down any training centers. I don't even know if he played it, didn't see it the whole match.
Uh-huh.
Gen Skyro Bridge, but that gives my Rayquaza's free retreat, and my Reshiram's 1 retreat, which actually is really good, because after I blue flare, I can retreat for 1, rather than having to attach and retreat.
Now, I guess the question for both decks is, was the Pokemon Simulator full art, or was she just regular art?
Oh, she was definitely full art.
Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, after all this regionals run, how many championship points are you at right now?
690, not including the 50 I get from Worlds.
Okay. So, I know you said the goal was you wanted to hit top 8, but how many do you want to hit before Worlds?
How many do I want to hit before Worlds? I mean, whatever is good enough for top 16. Because that day 2 invite is going to be huge. Because, I mean, beforehand, where it was 450, so many good players didn't get their invites, just not due to, like, not being able to go to tournaments or whatever. And, now that they lowered it, all those players that like that are extremely good that don't have time to go to tournaments can get their invites. Like people aren't underestimating players. Like they're saying, "Oh, you just need to like win a league challenge, get your invite." I mean, it's practically what it is. But there's some really good players that don't get their invites when they're like 500, 450, whatever. So Worlds is going to be really hard. So if I get that day 2 invite, that'd be really nice.
Okay. Now, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Shout out to Jeffrey Chang for I don't know but whatever. Inside joke.
Okay.
Shout out to Scott Evans for taking me to the event, buying some of my extended cards. He was a really huge help. I thank him second time. He's so helpful. Shout out to Justin Tam for reminding me that this deck exists. Huge shout out to Ishan because he's been a huge help ever since I've started playing.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Hayden. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, shout out to you for doing this amazing stuff.
Okay. Oh, I guess I have one more question. Are you gonna go to any more regionals coming up?
Nope. Next thing is nationals. So
Okay. All right.
Roaring
Well,
Skies.
all right. Well, do you know anything about Roaring Skies yet? Or are you still new to it?
Latios is intriguing.
Okay. All right. There we go. That's how I guess we'll end with that. But thanks so much for doing this, and good luck at nationals. Hope you get your top 16 for
Yeah,
Worlds.
thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care.
See ya.